It is Thursday. Impact Wrestling is on, I guess, in a few hours. What time is it in Orlando?
It is now, right at this particular moment, 2:37 here in Orlando, Florida, Thursday, August 9th.
So what do you do on a typical Thursday preparing for a taping? I know it's been live the last few weeks, and I believe it's actually now going to carry on being live?
Yes, through September. It was just announced that we are going to be picked up and continue live through September at least.
Brilliant.
Which, at that point, they'll have the opportunity, I think, to either continue or obviously drop the live thing and go back to a taped scenario. But I guess on a normal day, like this morning, I woke up at 4:30, went to the airport, hopped on a flight, flew to Orlando, get in, got checked in my hotel, and something to eat, finding something healthy to eat with about 30 or 40 minutes to get to the building is a little, it's hard to do. And then come here and figure out, then there's some food here. We have catering, get some food here, and then the meetings get done around 3-ish, and then you start finding out what you're going to do for the day, and then you kind of put your thinking caps on and put together a match or a promo or whatever it is that you have to do. So,
how different is preparing for the live show that you're doing these days as opposed to the kind of a couple of times a month tape shows that you were doing?
I don't think there's a whole lot different. The only thing is that with a live scenario, you absolutely know in your mind that you have to get it right the first time. And then if you don't get it right the first time, you better be able to come up with something on the fly very quickly.
Of course.
To cover for a mistake or something like that. Whereas in the tape situation, if you screw something up, you know that you can always do it again, and then you can just edit it.
Yeah.
Well, that's about the only real difference.
Okay, cool. And then on Sunday is Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. In the UK, we see that on the following Wednesday. How different is the atmosphere backstage before a pay-per-view event? Or is it very similar to a TV show?
At a pay-per-view event, for us, it's very similar. I think nowadays we have 12 pay-per-views a year. It seems like we're just getting done with one pay-per-view and we're on to the next one. 4 weeks goes by pretty quickly. So you kind of get used to it. You got to get accustomed to it. And it becomes, other than the fact that you have more time, more match, it's really not a lot different.
And your match is the Falls Count Anywhere, one of the 3 Bound for Glory series matches. Are you a big fan of going in the kind of hardcore matches, getting things a bit more violent than your average TV match?
I prefer just the plain old singles, one-on-one, in the ring, get her done. But while that wouldn't be my first option for a match, I find that 3-ways and 4-ways are always extremely hard to prepare for, extremely hard to make sense of. And you end up spending a lot of time putting those things together. But in the end, I think the hardcore stuff actually turns out to be a little easier than, because you don't have as many rules. You don't have to worry about getting counted out. You don't have to worry about you're not supposed to do that because pretty much anything goes. So I think it's a lot easier that way.
Okay.
Live scenario that makes sense.
Yeah. So the other kind of show that you have to do is the live shows, the house shows. I guess is that more different than the difference between a TV and pay-per-view is obviously quite similar. Do you get to kind of go out and have a bit more fun when it's on the live shows?
Absolutely, and I take a live show over a TV or a pay-per-view any day. It's just there's so much fun. You're given the guidelines that you're usually given are you guys have X amount of minutes. Beyond that, go out there and entertain people. So you get guys that are able to go out and try new things, and you get to interact with the crowd a lot more. You guys, especially, I I think for newer talent, guys that are kind of new to the business, that's where you learn how to do what we do.
And as part of that live tour, you'll be coming to the UK next January again. Do you look forward to the international tours?
I love international tours. Aside from the fact that they're a pain in the ass as far as travel goes,
Mm-hmm.
it takes extremely long time to get over there. But once we're there and once you get settled in, it's such a a treat usually for our international fans because they don't get to see us as often as the States. Fans in the States are spoiled. They're spoiled rotten because they get to see us a couple times a year. And just UK, we only get there once a year at most.
So let's talk about the kind of buzz that's surrounding TNA and Impact Wrestling at the moment. I want to know really, is the morale kind of backstage amongst the guys, is it up with the kind of general feeling that the viewers have at the moment? Ever since I guess a certain person left TNA, it seems to be that the shows are getting better, more logical. Everyone seems to be enjoying it a bit more. Is that reflected backstage?
Absolutely. I've been here for 2.5 years, and morale is the highest it's ever been. Because at the end of the day, we're artists. You can't tell an artist exactly how to paint the picture. You have to tell an artist sort of what you want, and then let that artist go and create on his own and paint the picture the way he sees it. That's when you get the best stuff. When you tell an artist to paint inside the line and paint by numbers, it just doesn't work. And we're at a situation right now, scenario in the company is that management comes up with ideas, and they come up with ideas months in advance, which is something that since I've been a part of wrestling, since I've been in the wrestling industry, and since I've been with a major company, that's never happened. It's always been on the fly. A lot of times you wouldn't know what was happening until it was happening, or right before it was happening. And things are thought out, like you said, they're more logical. Whereas in the past, I think, the wrestling fans will forget about it, and they won't, if you don't explain something, so if something happens one week, and then next week you go in a completely different direction, the fans are going to forget about it anyways. Don't worry about it. And we don't have that mentality anymore.
So at the moment, just before we wrap up, there's a certain other sporting event going on in the world. You may have heard of it. It's called the Olympic Games. Have you been following the London Olympics?
Yeah, I have. My wife and I watch just about every night before we go to bed. Loosely paying attention to. I was a swimmer in high school, so I obviously watched the swimming. I've been watching track and field the last couple nights. My wife and I watched volleyball last night, beach volleyball. I wish it was longer. I wish it took longer than 2 weeks. I wish it was something that we could enjoy for longer than just 2 weeks. But at the same time, it's also kind of it's special that it only comes around in 4 years. I guess in 2 years we'll be watching the Winter Olympics.
That's true. That is true. Okay. Well, thanks for taking time out of your kind of pre-Impact preparations for talking to us.
Thank you.
Good luck in the Bound for Glory series.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.